Today I want to tell you about a tank that was supposed to be revolutionary, but ended up as one of the most controversial failures in United States Army history. This is the story of the M551 Sheridan Light Tank, a tank that, as many experts say, never had a chance. Now imagine this. It's the 1960s. The Cold War is heating up. The United States military wants a lightweight, powerful, and futuristic tank. Something that could be airdropped into battle, swim across rivers, and also carry a guided missile system. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, that's exactly what the United States Army tried to build. Enter the M551 Sheridan. This tank was designed to be everything at once: light, mobile, amphibious, and high-tech. Instead of the traditional steel armor, it had an aluminum hull to keep it light. It was also equipped with a 152mm gun launcher hybrid, which could fire both traditional shells and a guided anti-tank missile called the Shillelagh. Yes, you heard that right, a tank that shoots missiles. But this dream would soon turn into a nightmare. Let's break this down into the main issues. Problem number 1, it was too light for its own good. To make the Sheridan light enough for airdrop missions, engineers sacrificed protection. The aluminum armor couldn't even stop basic anti-tank weapons. In Vietnam, where the tank was deployed in real combat, the Sheridan's light armor made it extremely vulnerable to landmines and RPGs. Problem number 2, the gun missile system was a disaster. The 152mm gun that could also fire a missile sounds cool, but in reality, total mess. The recoil was so strong that it often damaged internal components. The missile system was unreliable, jammed frequently, and required perfect conditions to work. And during actual combat, soldiers rarely used the missile because it simply didn't work when they needed it most. Problem number 3, it was a maintenance nightmare. Because of the aluminum build and complex electronics, the Sheridan often broke down. It needed constant maintenance, which made it a burden on the battlefield. Soldiers in Vietnam started calling it a death trap. In fact, some crews actually preferred using older tanks like the M48 Patton, because, well, at least those worked reliably. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all these failures, the US Army kept using the Sheridan for nearly 30 years. Why? Because honestly, there was no replacement. No other tank could be airdropped. No other tank had that mix of mobility and firepower. And when you need rapid deployment, like in Operation Just Cause in Panama in 1989, the Sheridan was still the only option. Even in the Gulf War of 1991, some Sheridans were used by airborne units, but not for tank battles, just for reconnaissance and psychological impact. That's right, they were used to scare the enemy, not actually fight them. The military knew how weak the Sheridan was, but they had nothing better. Eventually, the M551 Sheridan was retired in 1996 with no official replacement. For years, the US Army tried and failed to find a better light tank. Programs were started and canceled. Billions of dollars were spent, but no success. The need for a light, mobile, powerful tank still remains, but the Sheridan's failure made the Army far more cautious. So, what do we learn from this story? The Sheridan was a product of overambition. The military wanted one tank to do everything: be light, be powerful, fire missiles, swim in water, and be airdropped. But in trying to do everything, it failed at doing the most important thing: surviving the battlefield. And this isn't just about tanks, it's a lesson in technology, planning, and decision-making. We often get excited by new features and futuristic ideas, but if they don't work in the real world, then what's the point? In the end, the M551 Sheridan became a symbol of how not to build a combat vehicle. It was a bold experiment, but also a costly mistake. So, next time someone says newer is always better, remember the Sheridan. What do you think? Should the US Army have scrapped it earlier? Or was it worth keeping around because of its unique features?